Hello everyone, Weather Jamaica here. Welcome to this updated video on the weather across Jamaica and the rest of the Caribbean. It is Monday evening, December 25, 2023. Now before we jump into it, please ensure that you guys like the video, share it, subscribe and tap notification bell so that you'll be notified every time I post a brand new video. Feel free to leave a comment down in the comment section letting me know what the weather has been like in your area recently. Also, feel free to ask any weather related question that you might have about the future of the weather in your specific area. Alright, so let us take a look at the surface map of the Atlantic for this evening. We can still see that we have multiple troughs stretching all the way from a cold front that is located all the way up into portion of the northern section of the North Atlantic, and we can also see that the Atlantic is being dominated by ridges of high pressure that are sending all of those easterly trade winds across the main development region into the Caribbean. If we take a look at the visible satellite images of the Atlantic before the sun went down, we can see some clouds associated with a trough, bringing some amount of overcast skies, showers, and thunderstorms to sections of the eastern US, the Bahamas, section of Cuba, and even spilling into sections of the Cayman Islands. You can also see the clouds associated with those troughs to the north and east of the Caribbean. We'll be talking more about the Caribbean weather later on. Let us focus our attention on what took place across Jamaica today, Christmas Day. So we saw that nothing much occurred. It was a generally sunny to partly cloudy day, just some buildup of clouds across sections of southwest Portland, northern St. Andrew, and that's basically it. No high cold cloud tops indicating thunderstorms at all, but we did see that we had some high cold cloud tops across the northern and western portion of the island, more so cirrus clouds. And all of that was blowing from that system right there that's affecting sections of Cuba, soon to be the Cayman Islands. We can also see that the Cuban Doppler radar images are not showing much in the way of rainfall at all. Just some spotty showers right there to the west of the island and maybe right there to the east of the island. But some persons might be saying, but what's all of that across Jamaica? All of that we're seeing with the greens, yellows, and reds, all of that is ground clutter. That's basically a glitch on the Cuban Doppler radar, which is why we really need that Jamaican Doppler radar to be fixed as soon as possible. Taking a look at the temperatures right now, we can say we have 26 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 28 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, and by about 3 a.m. on Tuesday, the temperature should dip down to about 22 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 23 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay. Taking a look at the temperature forecast, this map from the GFS is showing 18 on Tuesday. When you calculate that, that's 1 p.m. on Tuesday, and these are the temperature forecasts. We see Jamaica embedded in some yellows and some slight oranges that represent 1 to 2 degrees Celsius above normal temperatures. And we know the normal temperatures for the month of December across Jamaica is about 87 degrees Fahrenheit. When we take a look at the thermometer, 87 degrees Fahrenheit is about the same as 30 degrees Celsius. So we should be receiving anywhere from 30 to 32 degrees Celsius across Jamaica for Tuesday, Boxing Day. Taking a look at the dry air map, you can still see that there's a lot of dry air across the Atlantic basin. As we can see by the key at the bottom, the dry air is represented by the yellows, oranges, reds, and white within those reds. And we do see that there's a lot of dry air across portions of the Caribbean at this time. As it relates to the Saharan dust forecast for 2 p.m. on Tuesday, we do see some slight shades of brown stretching all the way from the eastern Caribbean to the southern portion of the Caribbean. And we can also see that the most vigorous plume of dust is right there closer to Africa. Jamaica should be in the clear for 2 p.m. on Tuesday. However, as it relates to the wave forecast, we do see those lighter shades of blues across northern and western portion of the island that indicate 0.5 for meter wave height, while the southern and eastern portion of the island should be getting in on those 1 to 1.5 of a meter wave height. And that's because the winds are not going to be that strong tomorrow at all. We see more in the way of blues surrounding the island. And we see the flow generally coming in from the east, averaging anywhere from 5 to 10 knots. So it's going to be a great fishing day tomorrow with the lack of high waves and with the winds lacking. It might feel hotter than normal. However, with the upper level winds coming in from the northwest, whatever afternoon convection we get, It could favor more of that rainfall across sections of some southern parishes in Jamaica, so maybe St. Thomas, Kingston and St. Andrew, St. Catherine, Clarendon, Manchester, St. Elizabeth, and Westmoreland might get in on whatever afternoon rainfall that we could get. Either way, as relates to the rainfall forecast, both the Euro and the GFS malls are showing blues that represent rainfall across sections of eastern, central, and western parishes in Jamaica, and this is valid for 2 p.m. on Tuesday. For your information, eastern parishes are those parishes in the county of Surrey, so Kingston, St. Andrew, Portland, St. Thomas. Central parishes are those parishes in the county of Middlesex, so St. Anne, St. Mary, Manchester, Clarendon, St. Elizabeth. Western parishes, we're talking about those parishes in the county of Cornwall, so St. Elizabeth, Westmoreland, Hanover, St. James, Trelawney. So that's what's in the forecast for tomorrow. Blues that represent rainfall across eastern, central, and western parishes in Jamaica. So we'll see exactly what unfolds with that. We can also see the accumulated precipitation forecast. Both are showing that we're definitely going to be getting on some amount of rainfall across the island for tomorrow with those greens, but it's the low end of the scale. It's not much being accumulated at all. The Euro showing up to 0.14 of an inch of rainfall for the most part. The GFS just a little over that, showing up to 0.15 of an inch of rainfall. And keep in mind that both of these accumulated precipitation forecasts are showing all the rainfall that's expected from now up until 10 p.m. on Tuesday. Not saying that it's going to be raining all the way up until then, but these are the total amounts that are going to be expected within this 24-hour period time frame, and it's just going to be happening clearly during the afternoon, just as we saw earlier. Either way, we'll take all the rainfall that we can get. We're in the month of December. We usually receive only 122 millimeters of rainfall, and majority of that rainfall is usually confined to the north coast, with all of that northeasterly flow, relief rainfall. Well, the south coast is usually dry, so we'll take all the rainfall that we can get on the south coast to put a dent in the hydrological drought that we usually experience during the months of February, March, and April. Alright, so that is it for the forecast across Jamaica. Let us focus our attention on the rest of the Caribbean. So as stated, we have a lot of clouds bringing overcast skies and thunderstorms to sections of Cuba, the Bahamas, soon to be the Cayman Islands, sections of the Yucatan Peninsula. Not much taking place right now across sections of Central America, but we do see some thunderstorm activity across sections of Colombia, Venezuela, Guyana, Suriname, French Guyana. And if we take a look at the Doppler radar images of the northeastern Caribbean, we don't see much happening at all. We do see some isolated showers right there to the north on the northern section of Puerto Rico, especially to the northeast of San Juan as we speak. The rest of the islands of the Leeward Islands not getting in on much. But if we take a look at the Barbados radar, we do see some amount of rainfall right there to the north of Barbados, maybe affecting sections of Martinique, maybe St. Lucia. But to the south of there, not much happening at all. If we take a look at the wider view of Doppler radar images, we can see all of that heavy rainfall now about to affect portions of, or has already affected portions of Florida. Definitely going to be affecting sections of northern and maybe central Cuba as the night progresses. And we can also see that rainfall that we just mentioned across sections of Guyana, Suriname, French Guiana, and even Colombia. We can also see some passing showers to the north of the ABC Islands as well. Taking a look at the temperature forecast, we can see above normal temperatures being experienced from the eastern to the western Caribbean. Majority of the Leeward Islands should be getting in on some average temperatures, as we can see by those gray colors. As it relates to the Saharan dust forecast, we do see that majority of the northern and western Caribbean should be in the clear, as all the browns that represent the Saharan dust. Keep in mind that this is the low end of the scale in terms of Saharan dust. Should be across the eastern Caribbean and the southern Caribbean, so anywhere from Costa Rica eastward, so Panama, sections of Colombia, Venezuela, the ABC Islands, anywhere from Martinique southward as well, so St. Lucia, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Grenada, Barbados, Trinidad and Tobago. But it's on the low end of the scale. What we don't want to see is the darker shades of brown, where we can actually see the hazy skies and asthma, respiratory illnesses and sinusitis being triggered in some people. Taking a look at the wave forecast, I'm pleased to announce that majority of the Caribbean should be getting anywhere from 1 to 1.5 meter wave heights, and that's because the winds are not going to be that strong, averaging anywhere from, let's say, 5 to 10, maybe close to 15 knots from the east. As well as the rainfall that's expected for the next 24 hours, there's going to be rainfall across these spots, especially if it's not already falling, it's going to be falling. Sections of Florida, the Bahamas, Cuba, sections of the Yucatan Peninsula, Belize, sections of northwestern Honduras, maybe sections of eastern Nicaragua, Costa Rica, Panama, Colombia, especially southern Venezuela, sections of Guyana, Suriname, French Guyana. We can also see some rainfall in the areas that we just saw it a while ago on the Doppler radar images. So maybe St. Vincent, Martinique, St. Lucia, sections of Dominica, eastern and northern Puerto Rico. Maybe the US or British Virgin Islands might get in on some of that rainfall as well. Maybe even sections of the Dominican Republic getting in on some of that northeasterly flow of rainfall as well. And we know that when both maps from the Euro and the GFS are showing something similar like this, the chances of it actually happening are much higher. Alright, so that's it for today. Thanks for watching.